right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, a Phil Heath story. I wanted to give some props to Phil Heath here. So Phil, on his Instagram story, posted an ab update, an ab check. And I wanted to give Phil credit for this because this is something Phil almost never does. Literally almost never. Typically when Phil's getting ready for the Olympia, which is primarily the show that he's done over the past few years, even before he kind of semi-retired in 2018, after 2018, leading up to that show, all you would see of Phil Heath is him in a tank top because obviously his best body parts, his shoulders, his arms, they're always going to look good. They're always going to look freaky. It's hard to say anything critical of Phil Heath showing himself in a tank top. He always looks good. So typically leading up to the Olympia, you don't see any shirtless pictures. You don't see any pictures of his midsection. He'll typically post maybe some arm training videos in a tank top. So in prep mode, Phil doesn't post his midsection, so he definitely doesn't post it in the off-season. So I thought it was cool that Phil actually posted this to his story, him hitting this kind of ab check here, because like I said, it's something we don't really ever see. And a couple of weeks ago, we had the Phil Heath, he was going in for some cryotherapy or something, and there's like this video of him laying down on the bed there. And in those videos, everybody was sending them to me saying his waist looked smaller. In this video, people were sending it to me saying his abs actually looked pretty good. And I got to agree. I think Phil's abs look better here. His waist looks smaller here. I think Phil as a whole looks a little bit smaller. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Phil does look a little bit downsized to me, but I don't mean that negatively. I mean maybe Phil similar to Ramy. Maybe after the Olympia this year, or last year I should say, they decided to take a little bit of a break, maybe take some time off of certain aspects of being a professional bodybuilder, and that's okay. And I guess at some point the question becomes, when will we see Phil compete next? We don't really know. Phil got third place at the Olympia. I'm sure a lot of people, including Phil, were not expecting that to be the outcome. I think a lot of us even thought Phil was definitely going to be in the running to win the show, and he wasn't. And now we've got Athleticon pushed all the way back until 2022. Will Phil do the Olympia again? Could Phil possibly do the Arnold, which we don't even have a date for? There's a lot of uncertainties right now when it comes to the big shows in bodybuilding. I mean, it still seems crazy to me when you think about it that the shows don't even begin. The bodybuilding season does not even begin until May, 5 months into the new year. And then the Olympia is in October. So they've got 5 months, these bodybuilders, between October and May to qualify for the Olympia if they have not already. I think we're going to see a ton of shows crammed into that time because even though 2020 was crazy and there were a lot of shows canceled and postponed, the year still started, with the Arnold Classic. It started in March. You still had shows beginning, and they had even further to the Olympia. The Olympia was not until December. Now you've got a really much smaller window. It's just definitely something to consider. So let me know in the comment section below how you think Phil Heath is looking in this latest physique update. All right, now next up in the news, let's talk 212 bodybuilding. Specifically, let's talk about Derek Lunsford. So Derek Lunsford announced recently, he says in the caption of this post, "I'm proud to announce the next chapter in my bodybuilding career. I have teamed up with Evogen Nutrition and Hany Rambod. We made some adjustments to bring my best for 2021. I'm excited to see the progress unfold as we work to achieve my fullest potential. No slowing down. We are just getting started. Game on." So Derek was a guy that I had my eyes on the past couple years looking at 212. I thought he was going to be the heir to the throne of Flex Lewis. I thought he was going to be the next Mr. Olympia. Now in 2019, the first Olympia 212 category where Flex was absent, Derek took second at that year's Olympia. And even then, a lot of people felt he was off. He missed the mark. When leading up to that show, a lot of people were talking about him being the potential winner. And, of course, in 2020, Derek dropped all the way down to fourth place from that second-place finish in 2019, maybe turning off a lot of people that were saying he was the heir to the throne. But working with Hany Rambod is significant. Hany Rambod, obviously the prep coach of Phil Heath, the coach of Hady Choopan, who beat Phil Heath this year. Hady Choopan is one of the most impressive men's open bodybuilders there is right now. I believe Hany also works with the men's physique competitor Andre Due. So I guess we'll see what happens. We know that he was previously with JB Prep, and now presumably he'll be working with Hany Rambod as his coach. He doesn't explicitly say that Hany will be coaching him in this caption. He says, "I'm proud to announce that the next chapter of my bodybuilding career, I've teamed up with Evogen Nutrition and Hany Rambod." And he talks about adjustments that they're making to bring his best for 2021. So I'm assuming he's working with Hany in a coach capacity. And I think if anybody can bring Derek in shape, it would be Hany Rambod. And I think Derek, like I said, I was saying this back in 2019, Derek has the structure, even with a little bit of a lacking lower body. He's got the structure and he's got the physique to win the Olympia in the 212 category. If he were able to bring that conditioning, even in 2019, I think he would have won had he brought the appropriate conditioning. And he really needs to do that soon to hold on to the momentum that he had, because in 2019, I think he had a ton of momentum. In 2020, I think the physique that he brought and the placing that he received severely diminished that momentum that he had. So hopefully we see bigger and better and more conditioned things from Derek Lunsford in 2021. And now a word from our sponsors at Built Bar. All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by Built Bar. Now, I was pretty excited for this sponsorship because Built Bar is not your average protein bar. Even far before they ever offered to sponsor a video, I tried this a couple years back, and they're a really unique, really flavorful bar. And the unique flavors are really what attracted me to this brand initially. They've got flavors like orange. That's a flavor I remember trying a few years ago. Mint brownie, peanut butter brownie. I already ate all the peanut butter ones out of there. Banana nut bread really surprised me. That was pretty good. Caramel brownie, carrot cake, cherry barcia, coconut almond, coconut cookies and cream, double chocolate, raspberry, salted caramel, toffee, almond, and more flavors. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsoring the video. Even the fruity flavors mixed with chocolate that you might not expect to be good really impress me. And every one of these flavored bars is under 200 calories, and most of them are in the 17 to 20 grams of protein range. So if you want to try one of the 18 flavors of Built Bar, click the link below. And if you want to help support the channel, click the link below because these sponsorships help out a great deal. So give Built Bar a try. You won't regret it. Now, next up in the news, 2018 Mr. Olympia champion Shawn Flexitron Rhoden has been much more active on Instagram lately as it pertains to posting recent training videos. So it appears that Shawn is getting back into the swing of things as far as training regularly and posting those training updates. He posted this arm training session. That's what you're watching here. Then he also posted some heavy T-bar rows recently, doing a back workout there. Then most recently, a leg day, going pretty heavy on legs. So Shawn appears to be back into the full swing of things. What do you guys think this means for the future of Shawn's competitive career? Does this maybe hint or suggest that Shawn could get on stage in 2021? To the best of my knowledge right now, there have been no new updates or developments in Shawn's case. Primarily, we think the cause of this is the virus kind of set everything back as far as getting these cases resolved. So there have been no new updates on that front, but maybe Shawn knows something that we don't. He's getting back into full gear training for a potential comeback. I would like to see that. Now, next up in the news, Julius Maddox versus Redcon1. So I saw a lot of you guys in the comments saying Nick will never cover this because he works for Redcon1. First of all, I don't work for anybody. Second of all, I talk about whatever stories I find interesting that day, and I actually do find this story kind of interesting. So Julius Maddox, he posted this video on his Instagram page calling out Redcon1. Let me roll that video for you guys right here.
Real quick, I just want to address this comment made by Redcon1 about Johnny Harris. And you can ask Johnny Harris himself. I always give respect where it's due, when it's due. And I've always supported my fellow lifters, right? But anyway, they said that my lifts are less impressive than Johnny Harris. Johnny Harris has been 635. He is currently one of the lightest people in the world to bench press over 700 pounds. But anyway, they made that comment. And I didn't jump on there saying this and saying that. I'm just saying, is there a 14-year-old running Redcon1 social media like that is arguing with people over which lift is more impressive? I mean, can we all just appreciate mankind pushing ourselves and pushing the limits of what the human body can do?
All right, so what he's referring to is a post on Redcon1 social media featuring power bodybuilder, a.k.a. Johnny Harris, benching 635 pounds. Now, what Julius accuses Redcon of in his video was making some sort of comment saying this is more impressive than Julius's recent world record breaker. Now, I don't know what their exact words were because that comment appears to have been deleted. There's no more comments from Redcon in regards to Julius Maddox or anything like that. So it appears those comments were removed, but there's a ton of people in the comment section of the Johnny Harris video on the Redcon1 page that appear to have been replying to that comment and had seen that comment, but that comment is now deleted. So I don't know if their exact words were simply that it was just more impressive because Johnny is lighter and Julius is much heavier, or if they potentially called Julius fat or something along those lines, because I've seen that comment a lot in my own comment section. I talk about Julius a lot and a lot of the PRs that he recently has had, and I see this comment all the time. People say it's not as impressive, and they think Julius is fat. People say that a lot, and they kind of discount the fact that he's hitting these record numbers because of his size, and they say relative to his body weight, it's not that impressive. I disagree with that statement. I think in Julius's case, like Julius said in his video, he is pushing the limits of what is humanly possible. Body weight is regardless of what Julius is doing. He's breaking all-time world records regardless of weight class. So Julius is moving the needle in terms of what is possible, period. Not just what is possible if you're 200 pounds, if you're 250, if you're under 200. This is what is possible for a human being, period. If and when Julius benches 800 pounds, he's setting the mark for what the maximum bench press for any human has ever achieved raw, regardless of weight class. So the fact that Julius is a huge guy, people making the argument that his lifts are not as impressive because he's so huge, I think is stupid. Obviously, it's very impressive for someone the size of power bodybuilder to be able to bench press the amount of weight that he can. Obviously, that's impressive. Pound for pound, he's very strong, yes. But there's pound for pound strength, and then there's just overall strength. And when it comes to overall strength, Julius Maddox is the strongest man in the world in terms of the raw bench press. It's just that simple. So I just wanted that to be clear, that I don't work for anybody. And my channel has always been about talking about subjects that I'm interested in. I pick a couple stories a day that I think are interesting, and that's what I talk about. If I don't think it's interesting, I don't talk about it. But I did think this was interesting, so I'm going to talk about it, and nobody tells me otherwise. Nobody tells me anything as far as what I can and can't do with my channel. I pick up sponsorships here and there. I pick up little commission deals here and there. But overall, the bulk majority of my income comes from myself and comes from the ad revenue on my own channel and the topics that I discuss. So I would never sign any contract or anything that dictates anything that I can or can't say on my channel. I just don't like seeing these comments. Like, oh, Redcon will probably pay Nick not to talk about this topic because it makes him look bad. No, that type of stuff doesn't happen. There's no conspiracy theories like that. As far as, at least with me, there's not. All these conspiracy theories that YouTubers are paid off to not talk about things. I can guarantee you guys, nobody is paying me off. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the stories we talked about in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did in fact enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.